Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you? For business on LinkedIn. Okay, so because we've had some tech issues lately with StreamYard and LinkedIn, I'm gonna need you to really let me know that you can see me live on LinkedIn by dropping a hello in the comments and letting me know who you are and where in the world you're tuning in from. So go ahead and do that right now. And if you are tuning in, hello and welcome. You have joined a special lunchtime edition of the series that I am doing this month on the topic of how to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. So if this is your first time tuning in, where have you been? Like June is almost over and you haven't joined me. Oh my God. But don't worry, you're here now and it's going to be really great for you because throughout this month of June, I've been speaking on this topic of how to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn every Monday and every Tuesday. So Mondays are evening sessions where I have been talking live with interviewing one of my wonderful, fabulous female clients and on their own business and how they've encountered the whole visibility on LinkedIn and building a profitable business. So yesterday we went live. I had a conversation with Jennifer Laidlaw, who is my fabulous client and a fantastic Clarity Catalyst. So go check that one out. Link is in the comments somewhere. And so on Tuesdays, I've been doing this live session at lunchtime solo, where I'm going into a little bit more detail about the strategies on building a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. And that is what we're doing today. So if you are tuning in, just react to show that you're watching, just so I know who you are. Just do one of the links. And of course, drop a hello in the comments. Yes, just like Negus has done from Iowa and Dina. Good afternoon. So drop a hello and let me know where in the world that you're tuning in from. And let me know if you have a business. And if you do have a business, publicize yourself on this thread. Tell us a little bit about what you do because you never know who's reading this. And this is the beauty of being visible, right? I have a saying that goes, the best opportunities come to those who are visible. So when you start being visible on LinkedIn, opportunities will come your way when you have a strategy behind it. So that's what I'm going to help you with today. We are going to talk about that today. So today's topic is on the theme of what I call the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. The 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. That's what we're talking about today. Now, have you read my book, Start Being Visible? If you haven't read my book, Start Being Visible, in fact, if this is the first time you're hearing that I have a book, Start Being Visible, then you're going to want to run to Amazon and get it, or get it from my website, startbeinvisible.com/book. By the way, it's not my only book, it's book number 4, but this is the one that's about LinkedIn. So in this book, I talk about what I'm going to share today, the whole strategy of, listen, I'm giving you all of this for free right now. So you better have a pen and paper ready because I'm going to tell you the whole strategy for building your visibility on LinkedIn. Because if you are going to build a visible and profitable business, you have got to start with being visible. That's why my book is called Start Being Visible. It does what it says on the tin. It gives you the whole blueprint for building your personal brand on LinkedIn. And I am going to share some of that with you right here. Right here, right now. Isn't that exciting? I know, I'm so generous. I know. So I want you to drop in the comments, right? Write who you are, where you're tuning in from, and just react to show that you're watching. And then if you've got any questions as I go along, I want you to drop it in the comments as well. And if I'm sharing anything that resonates with you, let me know because I want to help you to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. So we're going to start by talking. Today's session is on the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. Right. Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you want to know? Do you want to know what these pillars are? Right. If you want to know, if you want me to give you these pillars, drop it in the comments. Say, Mildred, yes, I am ready for these 4 pillars because trust me, if you don't do anything else on LinkedIn, but you follow these guidelines that I'm about to give you and you implement these 4 pillars, you are going to be able to build your visibility on LinkedIn. And from building that foundation of visibility, you are going to then be able to make that transition to building a profitable business. So I'm going to help you out with that today. I'm going to help you out with that today. But also, I know you're like, Mildred, I want to know already, right? And you're gonna know already, right? So I am gonna help you out with that today. But also, I'm gonna invite you right now. I'm gonna do it straight off the bat, and I'll remind you again in a second. I want you to join me on my Visible and Profitable 30-day LinkedIn challenge, which is starting on Monday, the 3rd of July. So you're gonna hear some stuff today that's gonna really help you. But trust me, if you want to implement the stuff that we're talking about, and with me as your support, as your coach, then you're going to want to join this 30-day LinkedIn challenge. Now, what this is, in the 30 days of July, I'm going to give you my complete, what did I say? I said complete, not holding back. My complete strategy for building a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. You're going to have the system and the framework so that you can go away and replicate it after I walk you through it over those 30 days. And yes, it's going to involve you posting every day on LinkedIn for that 30 days. It is a challenge, but that's why it's called the Visible and Profitable 30-day challenge. It will involve you posting every day on LinkedIn. And if you're already panicking, like, Mildred, what am I going to post about? What am I going to talk about? Don't worry, I'm going to help you with all of that. But to get involved, you must sign up and join me. I have only got spaces for 10 women on this. Sorry, guys, it's a women community kind of feel, so I got spaces for 10 women and some of them have already gone. So if you want to grab one of those spaces before we start this 30-day challenge in July, send me a DM now, right now, before I even start the session. And by the way, before you ask, yes, it is not. There is a payment involved. It is not a free challenge. Do you go to Tesco and walk out with a free loaf of bread? Okay, my Americans, you don't have Tesco. What do you have? Walmart, Target, whatever, right? But this is going to change your life. But in order for it to change your life, you are going to have to put your hand up and say, yes, I'm in, and make the necessary investment. But trust me, it is not a lot at all. But don't be scared. Send me a message and I'll tell you all about it. But you're going to want to join me on this challenge. 30-day Visible and Profitable 30-day LinkedIn challenge. It's exciting, I promise you. But okay. Right. Let's get into today's topic. The 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. Good to see you from Lamont is in the house. Josie. Hey, Josie. Good to see you, Josie. I know Josie very, 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 very well. Good to see you, niggas. Good to see you all. And I've got other LinkedIn users. For some reason, your names are not coming up in here, but good to see you all live. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. The very first one, and the reason they're called pillars, by the way, is that all of these, just like you have a building, architects on the line, you can tell me this, that you have a building, but it needs a structure, right? So these pillars are like the 4 legs of a table. Take away one of these legs and the table is going to be wobbly and no good. So you need all 4. The very first pillar of LinkedIn success is P. The P, and I'm doing this, by the way, I've since revamped this 4 pillars of LinkedIn success that's in my book, Start Being Visible, to what I now call the PACE formula. So I'm going to give you the PACE formula now, but they're one and the same thing, but PACE sounds a whole lot better, right? So the very first pillar, the P in the very first pillar of this 4 pillars of LinkedIn success stands for profile. Now, if you are going to succeed in building your presence on LinkedIn, building a visible presence on LinkedIn, you have got to make sure that you have a great profile. Now, when I say great profile, do I mean a profile that sings all about how amazing and wonderful and fantastic you are? No, no, we do want to hear some of that. But the secret to a great profile is one that speaks to your target audience. Your profile, everything about your profile must speak to your target audience, because here's the thing. LinkedIn, for those of you who have a website, right? If you have a website for your business, drop it in the comments. Feel free to drop the link as well. But if you have a website for your business, here's the thing. For the vast majority of business owners, you will not get a lot of traffic on your website. I can put my hands up. I got 2 websites, right? MildredTalabi.com, StartBeingVisible.com. To be honest, I don't even look at the stats because data is not my strong point in terms of web analytics and all that. Find it boring, but I know it's important. But the thing is, the few times that I have looked at the stats, I can tell you that the traffic to my website is probably, I don't know, in the hundreds, maybe thousands at the most. But if you compare this to LinkedIn, LinkedIn has 840 million users, probably gone up a bit more actually this year globally. So at any given moment of the day, there are millions of people visiting LinkedIn. The traffic on LinkedIn is constantly in the millions. What am I saying? The reason I'm contrasting it with your website is that a lot of business owners make the mistake of focusing so much time, attention, energy on your website, and you haven't spent any time, attention, energy, money on your profile on LinkedIn, which is going to pay you a whole lot more than your website in the short term. Am I saying don't have a website? No. I'm saying that a website is good. It's good for credibility. It's good for putting additional information, etc. But your LinkedIn profile, when you build that and you think of it like a mini landing page from your website, that is going to serve you a whole lot better than a whole website where you're getting barely any traffic compared to LinkedIn, where the traffic is constantly going. People are constantly visiting LinkedIn. Therefore, people can potentially be visiting your profile in the hundreds, in the thousands on a daily, weekly basis, unlike your website. So that's why it's really important that you make sure that your profile is really, really good if you are going to build a visible and profitable business. And here's another thing as well about your profile. When you Google your name on Google, when you search your name on Google, that's actually the correct way to say it, not Google your name, but Google is now a verb, you know. But when you search your name on Google, your LinkedIn profile is, if not the very first, is one of the very first links that come up. So when people go to find out more about you, your LinkedIn is going to come up. So I want you to, action point for you, I want you to go away after this session and go and take a look at your LinkedIn profile and ask yourself, do I like what I see? Does what I see there accurately represent me and my brand? If the answer is no, change it, and change it today, right? Change it today, because that is important. Your profile is absolutely important when it comes to building a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. So that's number one of the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. So if that's helping you, tell me in the comments. Let me know if that's helping you in the comments, and let me know your thoughts and questions as we go along, you know, because I do want to share with you all of these pillars, because I want you to win. You know, in case you don't know who I am, what I do, I specialize in helping women in particular to build powerful personal brands on LinkedIn. So female leaders, women in business, I help women to increase their influence, their income, and their impact through being visible on LinkedIn. All of that is possible when you have the right strategy behind you. So if you don't have the right strategy behind you and you're saying, Mildred, I would love a strategy, then I invite you to come and join me on my 30-day visible and profitable 30-day LinkedIn challenge, which I am doing in July. This is only the second time I'm doing this particular one. I did it in May. Excellent results. Ladies loved it. I'm doing it again, still at the beta mode, right? Which is why the investment is really small. So if you want to get in on the action before it becomes not in a beta mode anymore, now is the time. Send me a DM and I'll send you the details. You can grab one of my 10 spaces on this 30-day challenge. In this 30-day challenge, I am going to guide you through everything we're talking about today. The PACE formula, the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. I will be there with you, checking in on a daily basis. We're going to have a WhatsApp group, and on a weekly basis, we're going to have Zoom calls. So you are going to have all the accountability and support you need to make your business a success in the 30 days of the visible and profitable challenge, and to make your LinkedIn use profitable for you, to turn LinkedIn into an avenue where you're building your personal brand, you're connecting with your target audience, you have that great profile we spoke about, and you are winning. You know, so that's my goal for you. So come and join me. Send me a DM to find out more. Put the words 30-day challenge on there, so I know that that's what you're reaching out about, and I can absolutely tell you more about how you can get involved. Okay, so that's number 1 of the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. We spoke about profile. Now, the next pillar of LinkedIn success that I want to share with you is so the P, PACE formula. The A is audience. Audience. Audience matters. Who is your audience? In fact, I'm going to ask you that. And if you're watching on replay, feel free to get involved as well. Type it in the chat because I will go back at some point and look through the comments. But who is your audience? Who are you here for? Now, sometimes people have this wrong belief that visibility is just about, oh, it's just about showing up and showing off. Just turning up on LinkedIn and just putting yourself out there. Listen, I've got better things to do. I have a busy life. I have a family. I have all kinds of stuff going on, including house renovations at the moment. I have things to do. LinkedIn is a tool that very much helps me with my marketing strategy for my business. And I love the community that I've built on there, which includes you guys watching this right now, includes you, but let's not get it twisted. LinkedIn is a tool. It is a marketing tool. It is one that if you use it effectively is going to be powerful for you if you use it effectively. So how are you going to use it effectively? You're going to do that by following these 4 pillars of LinkedIn success that I spoke about. And the audience piece of the puzzle is really, really important. And the reason that the audience piece of the puzzle is really important is because if you don't know your target audience, if you don't have an audience in mind when you're here on LinkedIn, you are just going to be, you're going to be, shooting blanks, the content that you put out. We'll talk about all that in a second, but the things that you put out is not going to resonate with people. With the audience, you have to find a niche that you market to. Now, I'm not saying, especially if you're new in business, you might think, oh, I don't know what my niche is, but start with a group. Just start with at least some group of people. Don't say I'm going to market to everybody. I'm going to serve everybody, because you're going to get nowhere with that, right? It's really important that you have some idea of who your audience is. And as you develop your business, it'll get clearer and clearer, but at least start somewhere. Audience is important, because when you know your audience, then you'll be able to write your profile, which we just spoke about, in a way that benefits your target audience. So audience is important, and it also helps you to find your audience. And how you find your audience on LinkedIn is easy. I'm going to teach you all of that in the Visible and Profitable 30-day LinkedIn challenge, if you get on board with that. And no, you do not have to have a premium account or sales navigator to do it. Don't tell LinkedIn I told you that. There are absolutely ways to do it effectively without being salesy, without being spammy. And I will teach you how to do that on the Visible and Profitable 30-day challenge. So come and join me. So that's that. So that's the second one, the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. So the pillar number 1 is profile, having a good profile. Pillar number 2 is audience. Do you know your audience? Type it in the chat who your target audience is. I want you to have a clear statement, or at least as clear as it can be to you, right? In the 2 seconds I'm going to give you to type this in the comment of who your target audience is. So mine, for example, it is my audience. I work with female leaders and women in business, and I help them to I help them to dramatically transform their personal brand through being visible on LinkedIn. So my audience is female leaders, women in business. Those are the 2 audiences that I serve. So let me know, who do you serve? Type it in the chat. And if this is helping you, also type it in the chat. If you've got any questions, also type it in the chat before I round off today's session in the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, so 4 pillars of LinkedIn success is what we are speaking about in today's session. We've talked about profile being pillar number 1, audience being pillar number 2. And remember, as I said at the beginning, these are all pillars, so they all work together. One is not more important than the other, but they're all interlinked, interlocked into something. They're all together, right? They're all joined together. So it's important that you join them together in your head and do all 4 of them if you want to have a good, visible, and profitable business, that is. If you don't, that's okay. Do what you want. No problem. No problem whatsoever. All right. So number 3 on the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success. Pillar number 3 is content. Now, content is a biggie. I can do a whole seminar on content because it's such a huge thing on LinkedIn. Without content, you are not visible. Without content, you cannot build your personal brand without creating content. So content is a way for you to get your voice out, to get your thoughts out, to build your expertise, establish your expertise, your thought leadership. Content is a way for you to connect with your audience. Content is a way for you to showcase your expertise. Content is a way for you to attract your clients if you want to build a visible and profitable business. You see what I'm doing right now? This is content. This is content. I am sharing with you content. I'm sharing with you information, strategy, whatever you want to call it, about how you can build a visible and profitable business. And here's what tends to happen when you share useful content with your audience. They get to three things happen in the process, and they're all linked. They get to know you, like you, and trust you. So over a period of time, if you are consistent with sharing good quality, useful content for your audience, they will start to know you, like you, and trust you. And then essentially what starts to happen is they buy into you, into your personal brand. And when they buy into you, it's so much easier for them to buy from you. So that's the process of social selling on LinkedIn. You use content as a tool and a vehicle to earn the trust of your audience, and in return, they repay you with buying your services, all your goods, because you can sell products on here as well. So that's what content does and can do for you. Now, how often should you create content and post on LinkedIn? Well, I've said this many times, but how I really got going on this on my LinkedIn journey of creating content on a regular basis is after doing it kind of unintentionally for years. At the beginning of 2020, I joined a 30-day LinkedIn challenge, just kind of like the one that I'm doing, right? Because I love challenges so well, because challenges are really good, by the way. Here's why a challenge is good. If you are that way motivated, I am very motivated by challenges. I've done 75 hard challenge. I challenged myself to do sprinting last year. When I challenge myself to commit to something, it gets done. But if there's no challenge attached to it, it's like, that. So this is why challenges are effective. So the challenge that I did, I paid for somebody else's 30 days challenge way back 3.5 years ago. And that through that challenge and committing to that challenge, I went from posting every now and again on LinkedIn when I was inspired to posting every single day on LinkedIn for those 30 days. And I haven't stopped since. I posted every single weekday on LinkedIn for 3.5 years now, because I decided to put my hands up, throw in my towel, get into the pit, whatever all the sports metaphors are, right? All of them. Yeah. I decided to get involved and take part in this challenge. And that challenge, it wasn't the challenge that changed my life. It was a commitment to the challenge that changed my life, because that changed the way I saw LinkedIn. That changed the way LinkedIn opened up to me. And in return, I was able to build this business that I have through that commitment, through that challenge. So if you're in doubt about how a challenge works, how effective a challenge can be, let me tell you that it is powerful. So join me on my 30-day LinkedIn Visible and Profitable Challenge if you want to know just how amazing and transformation it can be for your life. But going back to the content. So how often should you post content on LinkedIn? Drop it in the comments. Let me ask you, what do you think? How often should you post content on LinkedIn if you want to build a visible and profitable business? Put a number down in the chat. Even if you're watching a replay, put a number down in the chat. I want to know what's in your mind, and then I'm going to give you an answer in just a second, right? But so if you want to post content, if you want to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn, how often should you post content? Well, I'm going to give you the answer. I'll see your answers coming in the comments in a minute. The answer is, in my book of Mildred, in my Start Being Visible book, right, is a real book, my answer is at least 3 times a week. You have got to be sharing useful content for your audience at least 3 times a week. Now, I don't have the time to go into more about why it works and how to come up with content ideas and all of that kind of stuff, which, trust me, with the right support and strategy in place, you will not struggle to find content ideas because they're all around you. But I aim for at least 3 times a week that you're showing up on LinkedIn with good, valuable content for your audience. And that was going to take you far and really create opportunities for you. Okay, so that's the C in the PACE formula, and the third pillar of LinkedIn success, to help you build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. Now, the final one, before I share the final one with you, just a reminder to drop me a message. If we're not connected, you can still send me a message or write in here in the comments, 30-day challenge, and I'll reach back out to you. But drop me a message if you want to grab one of the 10 spaces for women, on my visible and profitable 30-day LinkedIn challenge, which starts in July. So 30 days with me and you and an awesome group of amazing visible women building your business through being visible on LinkedIn, through posting content, and a whole lot of other things that I'm going to share with you in the session. So get in touch if you want to get involved and grab one of those places. Closing date is this Friday. So do not procrastinate. Don't be there watching and dreaming and thinking, maybe do it. Act now. It will change your life. I promise you that. All right. So the final pillar of LinkedIn success, if you want to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn, is engagement. Engagement. What is engagement? Well, I'm glad you asked. Engagement is essentially you connecting with other members of the LinkedIn family, of the LinkedIn community. So engagement is you plugging into other people's content, you replying and responding to other people's content. So you replying and responding to your own content that other people are replying and responding to. Engagement essentially is this whole idea that to get the most out of LinkedIn, it is a two-way process. You can't just drop and run. You can't just come out, post your content, and then clear off. You've got to stick around to engage with people. And through engagement, you build relationships. Now, you can end up spending forever engaging on LinkedIn, commenting on posts left, right, and center on your feed. That is not an effective way to go about it if you want to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn. You have got to have a strategy. And guess what? I'm going to help you with that strategy, because there is an effective strategy to engaging strategically with the right people and with the right results, which can, here's the thing about getting a coach involved in your process is there's a lot that you can, a lot of mistakes you can avoid when someone's on board. There's a lot of learning that you can get quicker when you've got someone experienced on board. And there's a lot that can happen, and a lot of transformation that can happen for you in relatively a short piece of time with the support of a coach. How do I know this? Because this is everything that I've experienced when I've been coached, and I get coached, and I'm almost always never without a coach since I discovered the value of a good coach some years back. Before that, I was DIYing, I was freestyling, I was Googling, I was YouTubing, I was maybe just about stretching to buy a book. But I did not invest in coaches because I didn't realize just how important it was to have somebody show you the ropes and help you make much more progress than you would on your own. So that's what I offer as a coach, and that's what I'm going to help you do on the 30-day visible and profitable LinkedIn challenge. So if you want to join me and have me as your coach for the whole of July, in a very, 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 very fraction of what it would normally cost to have me as your coach, then send me that message and we can make it happen. But for now, it's time to go. It's time to go. I hope that was useful for you and to you. So just to recap again on the 4 pillars of LinkedIn success, if you focus on these 4 things, you are going to be able to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn, starting with a foundation of visibility, which is what we spoke about today. So those 4 pillars: number 1, your profile, get that in order. Number 2, have a clear idea who your audience is. Number 3, share useful and relevant content for your target audience. And number 4, engage. Do not drop and run. Engage with your audience. All right, so that is all the time that I have for today. So you're going to see me here. I'm going to be back here next week for the very final week of this series on how to build a visible and profitable business, which I have been doing throughout this June. So join me here on Monday night, not afternoon, Monday night at 6 p.m., where I've got my final guest for this season, an amazing woman who you're going to absolutely love to hear from. I'll tell you more about her on Monday. So join me here next Monday for that conversation. And then on next Tuesday, join me here for the final part of this 4-week series on how to build a visible and profitable business on LinkedIn, where I'm going to share some really awesome stuff with you before I sign off for my birthday, because next Wednesday is my birthday. And apart from 1 or 2 things, I'm going to be off for most of the week. So don't follow me or anything like that. Please reach out and connect, because I'd love to have you as part of my network. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'm going to say thank you again for joining in. Please drop your takeaways from this session in the comments. What's the one thing that you're going to take away from this session, or that you have taken away from this session? Drop it in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you here again next week. Take care.